Yesterday I arrived here in the afternoon and checked into Glam Apartments. This is a pretty neat little place. It's got everything you would need. It does have a kitchen here, so you can cook if that's what you're into when you're on holidays, but there's so much great food here. I would just go out and buy your food. It's great food at a great price and big portions, so there's really no reason to be cooking your own food. Yeah, it's a really nice little apartment, and it's kind of like very central in terms of because Warsaw feels like a spread out city, so this is a good location in terms of being able to get sort of everywhere at about the same walking time, which is cool. So today I went to the Warsaw Uprising Museum, which was a really interesting one. I like to do the museum sort of at the start of the trip, because then everything you see in the rest of the trip kind of makes more sense once you have an understanding of it. So that was good to see. Fascinating, just so fascinating what they've been through and everything they accomplished, and just the perseverance and the strength of the people. It's just a fascinating place. I definitely recommend visiting that. It was only about 25 zloty to go there, and it was a really well done museum. Lots of exhibits, different movies and different artifacts, and then there was even a 3D movie where you could see sort of like a drone's perspective, where you fly through the city and see it from the bird's eye view, because 90% of Warsaw was destroyed in World War II, so it was mostly rubble. Everything here is like a phoenix that has risen from the ashes, because a lot of it has been rebuilt. So it was interesting, that 3D video, just to see sort of the bigger perspective of what has been destroyed. That was really interesting. And then just for me, I didn't have much of a knowledge about Warsaw or anything they went through, so getting that understanding was really fascinating. And after that, I went to see the narrowest house, I think, in the world, maybe in Europe, I don't know. I do know that it was kind of a bit anticlimactic, I would say. You just get there from the street side, you can't see anything, it's boarded up now. Maybe there was too many people taking photos of it, I don't know. So I just did a little bit of snooping and went around the back streets to try and see if there was a back view. And I did have to walk through some sort of car park, and I saw the back entrance, took a photo and then left. Don't really recommend seeing that unless you're really fascinated in seeing the world's narrowest house. Otherwise, I would recommend just going straight into Old Town. It's a really nice place, lots of character and lots of charm, and even though most of it has been rebuilt, it still has that character and that charm because it's been rebuilt in the way that it would have looked like before. There's lots of restaurants. I stopped into a great restaurant, had a big meal, and it was delicious. And what did I try today? Dumplings and forest mushroom soup. It tasted delicious, and they brought out this real nice toasty bread with it, so you're not gonna go hungry in Poland, I swear. They love to feed you. Yeah, otherwise just spent the afternoon just walking around Old Town, getting a feel for it. It's a really nice place to just walk around. They even have piano concerts every night, which is pretty cool. It's about 15 zloty, or no, 15 euro, 45 zloty, I think they said. That would be a nice way to end a day. And there's a lot of museums and other things, and just a place. It's just such a nice place to walk around and just sort of stroll. There's a lot of Christmas lights at the moment, so it's a really pretty place to walk around, but otherwise I think I would enjoy walking there even if it wasn't Christmas time. So we'll see a little bit more of it tomorrow and have a few new updates for you. What's up, everyone? I am checking in after day 2 in Warsaw. This was my last day here. I only had 2 days, but it was such a fun day. So let me just recap where I went and what I did. So the first thing I did was went across the river to Prague. Again, I have no idea if I'm pronouncing things right, but so I went across the river. I walked. It was about a 45-minute walk. Really beautiful scenic walk. It was very nice way to start the day. But I went across to Prague, which was once the crime capital of Warsaw. It was at one point in time like the place you did not go. It was like quite a dangerous place. And I know it seems weird that I'm like, hey, this is where I went by myself. But in recent years, a lot of university people had started moving there because that's where they could find cheap accommodation. And it started like somewhat of a makeover of the city. And so it's still, I would say, still a little gritty and a little like not as fresh and neat as like this side of the river, but it was a great place to go. And you can get there now. Like, I think it's got a lot of potential to be like one of the cool hip places to go. Give it a few years, but if you see it now, you can sort of see it before it gets overcrowded and all that. So it's good to see it in this stage. One of the cool things I liked about Prague was that you might have remembered I mentioned that like 90% of Warsaw was demolished after World War II. And this area, you can see some buildings that weren't demolished. Like a lot of this area was left standing, and it really, there's a lot that hasn't seemed to have any changes since the war. It's still like bullet holes all up the walls, and they haven't been patched up, and you still see like sort of like rubble esque in the buildings. So you can, it's kind of like the best bet for seeing what Warsaw would have looked like before the war. This is about as close as you can get. And interestingly, sometimes you'll be walking and see like an old brick building or just an old building with like smashed glass and the bullet holes, and it's kind of looks like it's been through a war. And then the next building like right next to it will be all remodeled and new and nice and fancy looking. So it's interesting to see that sort of old and new right next to each other, where like the past is moving into the future kind of thing. That was interesting. So after just doing a bit of a walk around and getting my bearings in Prague, I went to the Polish Vodka Museum. And this was like such a highlight of my day, and a very unexpected one, because I just went there thinking like, what could be so interesting about vodka, you know? But I went there, and you take a guided tour. You can't walk through on your own, and it is a really great way to see the museum because they really bring that vodka to life. Now you can't take any videos in there, so I don't have any videos to show you. I might put over some photos that I took or something, but it was a really interesting place to go. Very cool museum because of like the way that it was so well done and so like interactive. So they had some like touch screens where you could be like making your own vodka with different herbs and different ingredients. And there was like just a lot of other interactive exhibits. My guide was Sebastian. He was fantastic. Like, I couldn't have imagined a better guide. He was funny and explained everything really well. He was really knowledgeable about everything. So it was a really cool museum to go to. And you get a testing at the end. So I mean, I was there kind of early, but it's never too early. I asked what time the Poles drink, and they said just any time after 12 was good. So it was after 12 when I had my testing. But it was really cool because we got to try vodkas all made in Poland from different ingredients. So there was like a rye vodka, a potato vodka, and then so you tried the different ones and you got to see like how they taste. And I probably never would have thought about it before. I just sort of like, the times I've been drinking vodka, it's been to get drunk. So I'm like not really thinking about how it tastes on my palate or anything, like you're just getting it down. But this was like a really good experience to actually drink it slowly and understand like how to tell the difference between a grain vodka and a potato vodka and different things like that. So it was really interesting. They also have a cocktail bar there, and they have some of their own like infused vodkas that they've made. And I had an Earl Grey cocktail, and it tasted just like a tea. Like, it was so good. So I had a cocktail there as well. They also had one that was called lemon cake, and like I had a shot of that at the end, and it was honestly like a dessert. So definitely recommend those two if you're there and they still have them on the menu. That was like just such a really cool museum to go to, and one that I 100% recommend. So I forgot to mention this when I made the video, but you can also get takeaway Polish vodka. This one's my favorite, so it's the one I got. And I had to get the small ones because I only travel carry-on, but very cool addition. I hope you walk away with some vodka when you go visit the museum. After that, I just walked around Prague for a little bit more. I did see the famous market, which off the top of my head, I don't remember the name, sorry, but it was a famous market for World War II because that's where they were selling like some of the contraband items. So it was kind of like a big market historically, but now it's kind of, there's not much stuff there. It's more, there was like some wedding dresses, some little knickknacks, some shoes and clothes kind of things, but not anything fancy or anything like that, but you go there just more for the historical reasons, really. And then walked back to the other side of the river and saw Multimedia Fountain Park. Now what's cool is if you do just want to like walk along the river, there's walking paths on both sides. So you could just pick either side and go for a nice walk. It's very scenic and very peaceful and very just like a pretty area to walk around. But I went to the Multimedia Fountain Park and it looked like it would be really cool, but I think they had all the water off, maybe for winter or maybe it was just today, I don't know. But there wasn't any of the fountains going, so I didn't get to see those. But it does look like a cool area if you get to plan your visit more and it's on when you visit. After that, walk around Old Town again and went up to one of the viewing platforms to see sort of like a bird's eye view of the city. It was very beautiful, and funnily enough, this has been the only day where there was actual blue skies, there was a little bit of sunshine, and there was colors in the sky at sunset. So it was really nice send-off because all the other days it's just been like white sky and very cloudy and misty. So this is like a really nice way to see Warsaw like lit up with that sunset glow and see it in such beautiful light. It's a very pretty town, very pretty place, and I hope you get to visit too. Alrighty guys, so that is it from beautiful Poland. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. If you want any more information, I'll have a lot more detailed information on my website, so go check out those guides. The vlog is what's on top of my head, and then on my blog I actually like retrace my steps and get all the details of everything to put in there. So there's way more detailed information on my website. Go check that out. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this video. It really helps out my channel. And otherwise, I'll see you next time.